Hello, I'm taking part in the LGBT plus network's Tutor Advice videos, and I'm going to be speaking from the perspective of a tutor. I'm Ibtisam Ahmed. I'm a PhD student in the School of Politics and International Relations, and as part of that I do seminar teaching. And as part of my seminar teaching, I've come to experience a lot of different students who identify across the LGBT plus spectrum. I found some things that are really helpful to have when you're doing work with these students, and some general advice about what they enjoy and what they don't when it comes to not only dealing with their own identities, but also perhaps dealing with what you're teaching. Something that is extremely helpful is when you're doing your icebreakers, introduce yourself and also give them your pronoun. In my case, I go, hello, I'm Ibi, always use a nickname for myself, and then I say my pronouns are he and him, and then I ask them to do the same. This is extremely important because this means that students who are trans or non-binary, anyone who has an atypical or unconventional gender pronoun, doesn't feel that they are responsible for educating others. Everyone's doing it, so it's normal. It's also extremely important to make sure that those students who may not have thought about gender pronouns stop treating it as an assumption, stop treating it as a universal rule. So you break down barriers and you break down stereotypes just by doing it. And it's really basic. Something else that is extremely helpful is if a student comes up to you and tells you something, you don't make a big deal out of it. It sounds really strange because in some cases the students are coming at you from a position of deep trust, and they may want it in the case of, I'm telling you this very important and vital part of my identity. And while it's important to recognize that, you really shouldn't be making a big deal out of it, because it's not. Something that you absolutely shouldn't be doing, regardless of whether a student has told you about their identity or not, you shouldn't be sharing personal details. Now, I know this goes without saying with regards to students anyway, and I know that every single one of us as tutors and as teachers are aware of this. But just generally speaking, if a student's told you, that doesn't necessarily mean that they've told everyone else in the seminar group as well. So respect whatever pronouns they may be using publicly, or whatever assumptions people might be making about their sexuality publicly, unless they tell you otherwise. What's also interesting is something to remember with regards to books that you're using, scholars that you're using, sources that you're using. People may have transitioned in the public eye. I'm thinking about the Wachowski sisters. I'm also thinking about Caitlyn Jenner, two people who are used in academic sources in film and media, politics, sociology, and a wide range of subjects here at the university. We may have known them in their pre-transition lives, but it's extremely important to continue calling them by their actual genders and their actual pronouns. Suggesting that they had an identity before that, even though that may have been the name and the gender they used before, is invalidating their experiences. And more importantly, that can make students uncomfortable and make it feel like we're invalidating theirs. On that note, it's also extremely important not to question things such as why they may have transitioned, unless it has something to do directly with the course that you're teaching. It's an unnecessary tangent, and once again, it can make students uncomfortable. All that said, what's the most important thing to do is make sure that you're engaging with the students. Each individual has a different way of dealing with things, and they may be telling you what their preferences are. In that case, defer to their judgment, not to mine and not to your own. The most important thing, just listen. It's surprisingly easy. Thanks for listening.